What is up, everyone? It is Matt and Geoff back for another real review, and today is one of those special reviews where I'm just like the general audience, and Geoff is here to tell us about it because I went to a Cavs game tonight. I have no shame in admitting I skipped out on a screening, but Geoff was still kind enough and lucky enough to check out this film for us, and that is Hard Eyes. Geoff, how you doing, bud?
I'm doing great. I am doing swell. I'd ask how you're doing, but you just explained it already.
So, just real quick, give us a basic rundown of this film.
All right, Heart Eyes, directed by Josh Ruben. I'm a big fan of Josh Ruben, actually. Josh Ruben, I know him mostly from Dropout, which is what College Humor used to be. Then it became Dropout. They have, Dimension 20 and all these other shows and whatnot in the streaming service setup, which is just a lot of comedians that come and do a lot of like improv-based things. There's game show stuff. And I've watched a lot of his participation on things with Game Changer and Make Some Noise and other stuff. And he's a very funny guy. I also know he's a big horror guy. And I believe, I want to make sure I get it right. I believe it's called Scare Me, his first film. Yeah, Scare Me, which was a Shutter release back, at the height of lockdown in 2020.
Mm-hmm.
And that's a really fun horror comedy. I think that if I rewatch it now, I'd like it more than I did when I first watched it. And that's a good one. Followed by his next movie, which is, you take out things like Sonic. I haven't seen Sonic 3. I can't speak to that, but I know that he made a very loosely based on video game adaptation, but he has made one of the best reviewed, best received video game movies of all time, or video game adaptations, Werewolves Within, starring Sam Richardson. A great comedic cast in a they're picking them off one by one because someone's actually a werewolf.
It's a
But
board game, not a video game, but yeah, I'm
it was
familiar.
also it's also cited in at least the movie based on a video game, because it's the same. It's also the same exact thing. That's Mafia. I just finished, before we were recording this. At the time of this recording, I had just finished watching the new episode of The Traitors on Peacock. It's the same thing. It's the same. Everyone remembers that game.
Yeah.
So, he's made other horror films like A Wounded Fawn. That's pretty good. Like he acted in that. This is his third movie that he's directing, Hard Eyes. Definitely his biggest movie. It's co-written by a couple of guys here. One of them, I'm not familiar with Philip Murphy, but I am familiar with Michael Kennedy. Michael Kennedy, who wrote "It's a Wonderful Knife," which came out a couple years ago, in 2023, which is a pretty fun slasher spin on "It's a Wonderful Life." And then also Michael Kennedy, so you can have a little pop. He's from Cleveland.
Hey,
And then Christopher Landon co-wrote this. Christopher Landon, of course, of Happy Death Day to
oh,
You, and
Michael Landon was the co-writer
Freaky.
on Freaky.
Yeah, and he wrote and directed Freaky.
Okay.
He co-wrote Freaky with Michael Kennedy. So these guys, so they're the writers, and it's directed by Josh Ruben. This whole this like sort of like great group of guys that seem to know what they're doing as far as horror and comedy and balancing that act.
Yeah.
And they have this new slasher film, Heart Eyes, named after the heart eyes emoji. And it's a slasher film where there's a killer called the Heart Eyes Killer who goes around on Valentine's Day who slaughters couples. So it's about a young couple who isn't actually a couple, and they just happen to be on a work dinner where they have to go, where one guy, played by Mason Gooding of Scream and Scream 6 fame, takes out his coworker
And
Olivia
Love
Holt.
Victor.
Oh yes, also that. I never watched it, so I didn't know. I'm guessing most people didn't. The But the co-lead, Olivia Holt, she is struggling at work, and she has has to come up with a brand new pitch to sell diamonds, jewelry, on Valentine's Day, because her pitch is not going over well because it involves the idea of, doomed romances, death do us part. Not very good. Not a great topic when there is a serial killer out there killing couples, very widely
Oh
publicized
wow.
on Valentine's Day. So he decides to take her to a romantic restaurant, get a feel of the the atmosphere, talk about this stuff. Maybe they'll be able to get this great idea going. And of course, they get mistaken as a couple by the Hard Eyes killer.
Oh no.
So, and it's about how are they able to survive? Are they going to survive? How will the Hard Eyes killer be caught? Who knows? And they go through the motions of the slasher stuff, but also what I really like about the movie is it's not just a slasher movie. It's also like in its DNA, it's also a rom-com. It's a romantic comedy that just happens to have a slasher kind of like just roll through the middle of the movie. They're in the middle of like they keep building up all of these romantic comedy scenes, and then suddenly it's like, wait a minute. Also, there's a killer on the loose, so we can't actually do all the romantic comedy stuff to the degree we want to, but it does hit all of them. It does a whole stuff. It has the sassy friend who it has the meet cutes, the really funny stereotypical cliche type of meet cute scenarios. It has the friend and the lead going out and trying on outfits montage. It does all that stuff. And it does it knowing that it's a cliche. Because it knows that it's playing with the whole thing of like, well, if you're a lover, then you might get killed. And yeah, so I know I'm just kind of rambling there.
No, you're fine.
But it also stars as a pair of cops played by Devon Sawa and Jordana Brewster.
We love Jordana over
They
here.
play detective. This is one of my favorite dumb jokes in the movie. It's not a spoiler because it's just the cast list name. Their names are Detectives Hobbs and Detective Shaw.
Oh God.
It's great.
We got to
I
reference the worst the worst Fast and Furious movie ever made.
Oh man, that's the fourth one is out there.
The second one is out there.
Yeah, the second one is also out there.
But
I was just saying the worst of them. Yeah, Hobbs and Shaw, but also their characters in the full canon of the series. So, but yeah, they're a couple of cops, and they're the ones investigating the murders happening. And the whole cast is obviously having fun with this, and they're not taking this too seriously. Mason Gooding and Olivia Holt have great chemistry. It's clear that they cast them because they could successfully lead a legitimate cliche from top to bottom rom-com, and their charm would take it over as just like a perfectly amiable sort of viewing. Here they have all that stuff, and then they also have to deal with the physicality of they're being chased by a serial killer, they're fighting the guy, they're doing this, and they're all the action and the blood and the violence and whatnot, and they're able to sell that as well. So it's very fun. There's some fun set pieces. It's a slasher movie. How are the kills? There's some pretty gnarly kills in the movie. Some kills are just like, they show it in the trailer. He's got a machete. And, some people just get killed by a machete the old-fashioned way. They just get kind of stabbed or whatever. But there are some kills that are far more extreme. And even though they spoiled it in the trailer, there's the one with the tire iron. Still works great in the movie. I knew it was happening, and it still just looked great. One of the best parts about the movie for me was actually the viewing experience, seeing it in a theater in Philadelphia with a very rowdy crowd
Really?
at this screening. This is the Hard Eyes Killer's third year. Like, first year he killed in Boston. Second year, he killed in Philadelphia. The whole theater erupted when they said it was in Philadelphia. A guy near the front goes, "Go Birds!" in the middle of the screen.
See, I know normally you're like me when people get annoying in theaters, so to hear that actually helped you in this experience is a
No,
little.
it's a Philly thing, man. It's. I remember when I
Hey,
saw "Don't Worry, Darling," and they have like the new girl who's out. They all have the dinner, and they ask, "Where are you from?" And she says Philadelphia, and my screening goes, "Woo!"
listen, I get it because like when uh what was it? Captain America: Civil War came out in the beginning,
Mhm.
and
They filmed in Cleveland a bit, didn't they?
no, Winter Soldier filmed in Cleveland,
Oh.
but Civil War when Zemo is taking the book that has or finding out the information and killing the guy in the sink. That was Cleveland, and then the theater just erupted then because it's like whoa.
Mhm.
And so I get it when stuff like that happens.
Yeah. So I think it's fun when that happens, and Philly, we're obnoxious enough that it's just kind of fun.
Yeah,
I think that it does a pretty good job. Josh Ruben and the writers, these guys, like I said, they know horror, but they also know comedy, and they know like a fun way to balance those tones. So there's a lot of legitimate like laugh out loud moments I found myself like just straight up laughing at. The crowd thought it was very funny. They reacted accordingly on all the gnarly, gross kills. And this is like, if I could see this potentially doing very well with audiences, not just talking about box office. I just mean like, I think people are going to like
yeah,
this one
okay,
because it knows that you're here to have fun and it's having fun along with it. Yeah, that's it.
So what were some of your issues with it?
I think that even though it's like 97 minutes long with credits, it's a little over 90 minutes before the credits are done start. It Pacing can be a little better sometimes. Like some stuff felt a little flabby, or the ultimate reveal of the killer, who it could be. I clocked who the killer would be pretty quickly. But like that's just how my brain is wired. That didn't stop me from enjoying it. But just like now this isn't to say, oh, there's more than one killer, or there's this or there's that. But I remember with Scream 6, a movie that I really like. The thing that I liked the least about it was how messy the killer reveal stuff was. And I think that there's a lot of that killer reveal resolution stuff that's messy here as well.
Okay,
And that
funny
of course
because
that
another
detracts a
Mason
bit.
Gooding movie.
Yeah, another Mason Gooding movie. And so I think that kind of happens here as well. And other than that, I mean, it's fun. It's not some sort of like massive success where it's going to revolutionize slasher movies or romantic comedies. But I like when movies try to blend
Genres.
tones and genres, and when they succeed for the most part, like this did, that goes a long way for me. But yeah, I enjoyed it a lot. The problems with it are more like some stuff they lean way too far into certain cliche things. I wish they would have done more with this character or explained this person's perspective a little more. Maybe it would have felt less like some of the pacing in the middle there was a little like off. But other than that, it's a good time in the movies. That's it.
Fair enough. Fair enough. So if you're rating this, Geoff, what rating are you giving it? What arbitrary rating are you giving it?
Yeah, because remember, art is there is no way to actually put a number against art and have that be the official one. But my official one is a 3.5 out of 5. Yeah, look at that. Look at those hard eyes on that mask. By the way, cool mask. Just a cool
Interesting.
mask. I like the mask. I think that that's a really crucial thing to slashers. For me, I know for some other people, masks, it's really hard to have unique, interesting masks now. because there's so many of them are so similar now, or we have these iconic ones, so these other ones don't really line up. They're not really as good anymore. Yeah,
Right.
I think of there's one by I want to say his name is Patrick Bryce. Is that the filmmaker? He made Creep and Creep 2. Yeah, he made a movie that came out on Netflix in 2021 called There's Someone Inside Your House. And that one has a great, to me, interesting mask where the killer actually 3D prints their mask so they're wearing a 3D printed mask of the victim as they're killing the victim. Like, that's unique. That's interesting. I like this because it's very clear. It looks very leathery. They have the heart eyes. You can see that they can glow. It's cool. I like it. I think it's a really fun movie.
All right.
I'm sure I'm going to enjoy it the next time I watch it as well.
Fair enough. Well, folks, if you haven't already, be sure to like and subscribe everything we're doing over here on this channel. Check out all the reviews that Geoff and I are doing and just reactions that I do. And maybe we'll get Geoff on some of those going forward. We'll see. But also be sure to check out the sister channel, What Real Gaming. That is where our Twitch stream videos go, the video on demand to rewatch the Twitch streams and all the little gaming clips. Taylor Cleek, one of our partners, does a fantastic job running that. Go check that out. It's always a fun time. We also had 2 reviews drop this week. One for Your Friendly Neighborhood Spider-Man with myself and special guest Amaru Moses. So be sure to check that out. It is a full season review. However, you guys only got episodes 1 and 2, so we do go into a deep dive of those up top. And also a review for You're Cordially Invited, the new family Rom Com from Amazon MGM Studios and Reese Witherspoon and Will Ferrell. Yeah, it exists. So go check out that review. And as always, because soon enough, this show's going weekly, Views from Metropolis, our Superman podcast that I do, where I go through all the different iterations of the characters and have guests on, talk about it, all that good stuff. The next episode of Smallville Season 5. Then we are doing Superman, the Christopher Reeve story. And then we are doing Smallville Season 6, followed by John Schnepp's The Death of Superman Lives. So be sure to check out those next few episodes over between now and March, actually. Oh, no, I still got Quest for Peace I got to release. Whoops. We got Quest for Peace for Superman, the Christopher Reeve story. So be sure to
follow his Twitter to figure out what's going on, because it's clear he's scattered here.
No, I recorded some of these a while ago, so I forgot that Quest for Peace is just chilling there waiting.
I know you got to bank shows before you can start releasing them on a regular basis. I know how podcasting works.
I got to start banking more because the bank's just about empty. But yeah, with that, folks, signing off. I am Matt. That was Geoff, and this is another Real Review. We'll see you next time.